Welcome back, and today we are going to be celebrating the 250th anniversary in World of Warship. Now, the game isn't 250 years old. On the contrary, it's been updated every 4 weeks, so after a little while you're basically looking at a new game, but more of that in a little bit. We mainly want to talk about the event that's going on right now. You have about 40 days left, so it's not too late to jump on it and actually start participating, because all you need to do is simply play the game. You complete missions which give you currency, which you can use to upgrade your port, which then also gives you rewards. After you're done upgrading your port completely, you will get the tier 8 premium cruiser, the Bridgeport. Now, if this doesn't entice you, maybe this will. If you sign up on PC right now with the promo code STEPUP250, you will be getting some extra goodies. So you get 20 days of premium, you get a tier 9 French cruiser, the St. Louis, and you get an extra port slot and a commander. Now, you also get some extra missions, so if you keep playing once you signed up, you will also get the US tier 7 cruiser, the Boys. You get the 7 super containers, 40 million credits, 1 million elite commander XP, 600,000 free XP, and a bunch of expendable economic bonuses of various types. So sign up now with my code SETUP250 to get a lot of extra bonuses. Now, if you are not aware of how this game functions, you have a multitude of classes. We have destroyers, which are kind of sneaky, they're there for spotting and therefore big burst damage once they get up close. They're kind of like assassins. You have the cruisers, which can do a little bit of everything, but they're more of a support type role, but they are pretty squishy, they're pretty easy to kill, and overall not as maneuverable. So you really need to be playing around the map, using cover to ambush, lay supporting fire, use your radar, use your AA to support the battleships, which are the tanks and main damage dealers across the entire map. These have massive cannons, massive armor, and you know what else is massive? They're massive health pools. Now, this of course all varies between the nations, and these all fill different roles, but in the baseline, this is what you're looking at for the main brunt of the game. Then we also have the carriers, which are more of a commanding role. They are all about strategy and just covering the entire map in your presence. And then we have submarines, which personally I don't really play. I'm not really too fond of them. I'm here for above water ship combat. I just know that submarines are pretty annoying to deal with and are overall just an absolute nuisance. I prefer to play cruisers and battleships. Now, today we're also going to take a look at a destroyer, which I normally don't really feature on the channel, but I just want to show you a difference in gameplay opposed to the stuff that I normally use. But right now we are playing the Condé, which is the new super ship, and we are going to be using the terrain, at least for the most part. In the middle we're going to be kind of throwing here, we're just kind of running it down. Because, well, guess what? We don't always have to play optimally. At the end of the day, it is a game and we are just trying to have a little bit of fun. People are already talking smack in the chat. They are saying that we made ourselves a massive target, and that is correct. But we're also going to take a very big chunk out of that game while we do so. We are going to be loading HE mostly throughout this match, and we're going to try to set on fires on these massive battleships, because these things are damage farm piñatas. Fire damage is proportional to their health, so if I manage to set 1 or 2 fires on them and they don't extinguish them, I get massive damage numbers on the top right, which activates my neurons, because at the end of the day I play this game to see funny number go up. With a cruiser, it's all about that chip damage. You're not going to be one-shotting much until you run into something like a Royal Navy ship, which has absolutely 0 armor, and you just penetrate them with 12 of those AP shells. In general, you are going to be slinging HE and you are going to be trying to set people on fire. Now, when they give you a fat broadside like this, we can of course switch to AP, do a nice little chunk of 12,000 damage, and then we switch on back over to AP after killing this guy, because everyone is angled, or I will just straight up overpen them. I'm now bow in. I have a little bit of cover from everyone on the right, but the main on the left, as well as the guy from the smoke, is just able to pepper me constantly. But I can't really go anywhere, because if I push out here, I'm gonna get shot from the entire map essentially. And while sitting here is definitely not ideal, because this guy gets to shoot me for free. I'd rather have one guy shoot me for free than the entire map shoot me for free. We hold fire for a little bit, as the main in the background isn't able to spot us. and if we aren't firing, our spotting range will be decreased. So I'm able to kind of back up slowly and start arcing my rounds over this little island over here. Now he gets unspotted, I get spotted again, I have 3 people aiming at me, so I need to be careful, and I'd rather just position myself behind this. I guess it's a mountain, we can call it a mountain. Everything is flat here, we're on the ocean. We are going to be using this terrain to just make sure that we don't get hit. Unfortunately, he is just too far away and he's able to arc his rounds over the cover. So at this point we notice that we are just going to pull out here. There is no reason to keep sitting here, but he just shot, which means that he will be on the reload. And this gives me a little opportunity to pull out and sail away. I don't want to be in here. I'm not going to be winning this fight at long range, so we are going to be trying to be evasive while still shooting at the main. We're going to kite a little bit here. He hits us for a little chunk of damage. Luckily we're angled and it either all overpans and shatters, so we have only about 4,000 damage there that's been done to us, which is, it's okay. I mean, I'm not going to be a fan of it, but it's better than getting citadeled. So we just kind of kite away, we position ourselves, we notice another battleship who's kind of low on health. We're going to try to set him on fire, and if we do so, we might be able to actually get him out of the lobby. He only has 10,000 health left, and he's getting peppered by everyone else. And I thought that he was going to be dead, so I didn't shoot at him, and now he's a one-shot with about 500 health left. If I had just sprayed at him for a little bit, he'd be dead right now. Unfortunately, he's now too far away, and it seems like he's actually going to be escaping because my team isn't firing at him. We only have 1 battleship that can actually shoot at him. And unfortunately, he's busy with someone else. So that guy is actually going to get away, which is a little bit of a mistake. But it is what it is. We are still ahead somewhat, so it should be okay. And we're just going to push on. We're going to try to get closer to that main. The guy in the smoke isn't going to be able to spot us anytime soon. So I'm just going to be creeping up on the main over there. We have Mr. Snowman, who was complaining that I made myself a target at the start while he is sitting in his spawn. I guess he's not making himself a target by being so out of position that he's going to get nothing done and no one wants to focus him. But he is now basically sitting stationary in his spawn, giving me a fat and juicy target. So what do? We're gonna creep up on him and we're gonna try to set him on fire multiple times. And you see that I'm trying to shoot his front and his back deck because I'm trying to just set as many fires on him as I possibly can. I need 1 or 2 and then hope that he actually damage cons it. And when he does, I'm going to try to spray him down and get as many fires as possible. Because I should have a nice little window and just have him burn forever. And that's going to give us a lot of actual damage. He's trying to shoot at us, but he's very far away. And because we are much more nimble, we're able to stamp on the throttle, stamp on the brakes, use our rudder left and right. And those shells are in the air for long enough to the point where we should be able to dodge them unless he anticipates it perfectly. Now, unfortunately, there's a guy sitting right next to us that we gave ourselves a nice little broadside to. Luckily, however, that is not a battleship that just slimed us across the map. So we're now completely in cover. We're waiting for Mr. Snowman to start pushing up on us. But of course he won't. He is going to be backing up. So what do? We peek back out and we hope that he's not actually looking at us anymore. And it seems like he isn't. So we fire at him. We're going to set him on fire again, most likely. And then we get a little number next to detected, meaning that he's probably now looking at us. And there is another fire as we do another 8,000 damage volley. He shoots at us. We go into a kite position. We're going to start pulling away from him at close range. This is not sustainable. And we need to be in a good position to keep peppering this guy. Now I exposed myself a little bit here. I probably could have been a little bit more conservative, but it doesn't matter. This guy is on very low health. He's getting shot at by multiple people at the same time. We set him on fire and hopefully we're about to do it again. Another 4,500 volley. We shoot our guns again. Then he fires and we need to start accelerating. I need to get away from here and hope that he misjudged his lead. He unfortunately doesn't and takes away an 18,000 chunk out of my health pool, which is more than a quarter of it. And at this point it's a matter of spray this guy down until he finally dies, and it's mainly because I thought it would be funny. There is no strategic prowess here. This is not me having some big brain play. I just thought it would be funny if we kill this guy after he said that we made ourselves a target. Is this how you should play the game? No. We try to kite out. Do we do it properly? No, because I get slimed for another 8,000. I'm now very low health. I have a little bit of a heal left, but I'm essentially a one-shot here if he manages to penetrate me. So we just keep spraying him down, and eventually he shall explode. He's healing, and you can see the health points slowly ticking up. Luckily, I out DPS his heal and send him to the Shadow Realm, and that's 250,000 damage. That's a big number, but we want more big numbers. So we start shooting at this broadside little Prince van Oranje. Get another 16k volley. And then we totally don't die and go into the next game. We're now playing a Destroyer. And as I said, this is more about the close range. You don't really want to call it brawling, because you can't really take that many hits. But the good thing is that you have so little armor that most of the bigger shells straight up over penetrate. And this is good because it means that it doesn't actually explode inside of your ship, meaning that it does a lot less damage. Unfortunately, in turn, we are going to be eating a torp, and they don't over penetrate. They always do the same amount of damage depending on the armor that they hit. Of course, if they hit a very strong torpedo belt armor, then it's going to do a lot less damage. But on something like a Destroyer, that stuff is deadly, especially if it's a powerful torp. You're just gonna get straight up two-shot. Now here we have the Los Andes. I shoot a little wall of China at him. As we turn out, you can tell how close we are, and we are simply not spotted. And this is because, well, we are a Destroyer. The spotting distance is pretty small. You can tell that there's a little dotted circle on the map. That is the range they spot me at if I'm not firing my guns. Luckily, torpedoes don't count as guns. You can fire these things stealthily, which means that you can get very close to them and just straight up blow his shit smooth off. You can tell here, this guy is not having a good time, and he basically gets one shot. That's a good chunk of damage. Let's do that again. This time it's going to be versus a Montana, which unfortunately is probably one of my favorite looking warships of all time, behind the North Carolina. So it does kind of pay me to just blow his shit smooth off with these. But there's another wall of China coming in, and at this kind of range, at that kind of mobility speed, he is not gonna have a very good time. So let's get a second death strike in a row. This guy is turning full out, and there is 1, 2, 3, 4, instantly sinks, and down he goes. And that's about 150 plus K damage in only 2 torp volleys, and that's good for the big number that's on the top right of my screen, which again is the most important metric to measure yourself and your performance in the game. This is of course not true whatsoever, but the big number does increase my mood. Here we get ambushed by a Destroyer, and he thinks about only using his guns, so we just kind of throw a brick at his head and send him to the Shadow Realm. Not exactly sure what his plan was, but I'm a big fan of it. If this game looks interesting to you and you want to try it yourself, feel free to sign up with the code SETUP250 and get some additional rewards. Don't forget that for the upcoming 40-ish days, you will be able to participate in the Liberty event to build your own harbor and get some extra timed rewards while you're at it. Thank you all very much for watching. Thank you Wargaming for sponsoring today's video, and thank you Mr. Midway for sponsoring me another 50,000 damage. That's all I have for you today. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.